for my new series. Now, what I do, this is obviously Yu-Gi-Oh. This is for really just looking at the Yu-Gi-Oh community. What I do, I take old school decks that don't really run anymore, don't really compete with meta, rebuild them and compete with the meta. Make deck profiles and just show you on Dueling Network how they actually stand up against the meta. Now, I was thinking what should be my first video. I think SteelSwarm would be good since the Evil Swarms are out. Just a little bit of idea. Uh, so let's get into it. There's two ways to run this deck. You can use SteelSwarm Scout or SteelSwarm Cell. Cell is way better. It's more consistent, a little bit faster. Scout is like a Treeborn Frog, but you can't special summon the same turn you activate its effect. Uh, the two deck styles are totally different from each other. I like Cell better, just more consistent, more speed. Anyway, let's get into it. You went 3 Cell. Why? Um, because if you have no monsters on the field, you special summon it. And this deck revolves around tributing. And the two cards that you really want to tribute is Moth and your Stag. Moth, you pay 1,000, you bounce 2 of your opponent's cards. Your Stag, you gain 1,000, and you send 1 card on the field to the grave. Very effective both, they go hand in hand, and this whole deck build is just recycling Moth and your Stag into your hand to use the effect. Now let's go on to like the support cards. Um, is it doesn't have 0 defense, and 0 defense is very key into this deck. And I'll explain why a little bit later. Now, next card, Collar. Collar is really good because you can tribute it and still get its effect. It speeds up the deck. You can somewhat swarm out of it, and it has 0 defense. Uh, Next, 2 Sentinel. Why? The only reason I have Sentinel in the grave is because I run 2 Tour Guide. Because it's 3-star Fiend, and you can overlay, and it helps you out very much. Uh, a staple in the dark decks is Dark Arm Dragon. Very easy to get out, very powerful in this deck. Love it. Uh, Longhorn is very iffy because you need 2 tributes to get it out, which is a little bit slower, but I think it will be possible. You can side it and just add another Dark Creator. I'm really just trying out Longhorn right now. Uh, Basically, once per turn you pay 1,000, target 1 monster on the field, destroy it. Yes, you have the destroy effect, but also it's 0 defense. You run 1 Dark Creator or 2, it still works. 5 or more Darks in the graveyard, you banish 1 Dark, and you special summon a Dark monster from your grave. Very effective, very good in this deck because it sets you up for your tributes. Let's go into spells. Allure Darkness, Draw Power, Book of Moon, Dark Hole, Heavy, Foolish Burial. I'll explain why Foolish Burial in a little bit. Monster Reborn, Pot of Avarice, 1 for 1 to get your cells out, and Recurring Nightmare. Recurring Nightmare speeds up this deck completely, probably about 50% of what it usually is. Why? Select 2 dark monsters with 0 defense in your graveyard and return them to the hand. That's crazy. That's why 0 defense in this deck is amazing, because you just grab your Stag, grab the Moth, grab the Cell, grab the Longhorn if you can get him out. Very effective. You run 3 of it. Now you go into first step towards Infestation. Return 1 face-up tree, summon SteelSwarm monster you control to the hand. Draw 1 card. It's draw power, and it saves you from Book of Moon, Mirror Force, stuff like that. It's very effective, very good. Now into the traps. Infestation Ripples. Pay 500 life points. Special summon level 4 lower SteelSwarm monster from the grave. Tribute for Moth or your Stag. Next step, Infestation Tool. You gain attack power off it, and you dump monsters into the grave. The graveyard's very effective in this deck. Your hand's very effective, and your field's very effective. They all work into one. It's just really good. You dump the Moth or your Stag. You play the Recurring Nightmare, very effective. And then you run 2 Draining Shields. Why Draining Shield? Because you're constantly losing and gaining life in this deck, more losing than gaining. So you need something to be able to gain life. Yes, I'm not running the Solemn Brigade, or Solemn Duel, but it's kind of iffy in the deck to run those because you're losing life constantly. Yes, they're game changers, and yes, there's other options, but I like this build. It's consistent. It runs. So anyway, yeah. Sideboard, you can make the sideboard whatever. I only sideboard when I'm in tournament, and that's usually the standard sideboard. And then we go into the extra deck. Extra deck you don't really need. Well, you kind of need because you're running tour guide, but if you weren't running tour guide, you don't need an extra deck because this deck just doesn't really rely on it. But to run it, run two of these guys. Why? Because if you're going against a meta deck, they're gonna have XYZs, and you want to detach their XYZs because it's just annoying to go against an XYZ with materials with it. So you use him to detach. You use him just for effects. It's possible to get him out. I've gotten him out plenty of times. Uh, so I just run him. This dude, I don't have money for him. I've actually never owned him, but I just like its piercing effect. Plus, you can use it with a rank 5 or rank 6 XYZ, so it's really helpful. Two Zen mains, staple in any extra deck really now. Just Defender has the Destroy effect, everything easy to get out. One Utopia, another staple, just a Defender. So anyway, this is the deck. It's SteelSwarms. I'll be back up with another deck list very soon. Anyway, like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace.